Now, when it comes to personal audio, as far back as I can remember, Sony has always been the original gangster of the game. So when looking for the best value for money earbuds, you could go with a lesser known name or a cheaper option, but listen here real quick, that might be a mistake because Sony has just released the C510, an upgraded version of the very popular C500s, and they retail at launch for just £55 or $65 in the US. And with the C510s, comes a wealth of design and sound design expertise dating back to the early 80s.
Sony Walkman is a tiny stereo cassette player with truly incredible sound.
So the question is, do the Sony WF-C510 carry over the tried and true build quality, sound quality and features that we're used to seeing from Sony, even at this lower price bracket? Well, you definitely get some standout features here from Sony, and some of which a lot of other affordable earbuds probably can't even compete with, and I'll show you what those are as we go through this video. And do me a favor, I'm interested to hear what you think about the WF-C510 after you've watched this, so do let me know in the comments and I will reply. Anyway, now let's get into it. The color options here are black, blue, white and yellow, and the finish on these is a kind of satin matte. They're not too dissimilar in shape to the most comfortable bud style earbuds I've tested here on the channel, the Sony LinkBuds S, and it seems like Sony may have carried over some of the ergonomics from their flagship earbuds, the XM5s, to these. But unlike the XM5s and similar to the LinkBuds S, the C510s do use a clear hybrid silicone ear tip, which I know a lot of people prefer to the foam tips on the XM5s, and you get 3 sizes in the box with the medium tips pre-installed on the buds. There are some significant hardware differences between the C510s and the more expensive options from Sony, which I'll point out to you as we go through. Now, there is no USB-C charging cable with this in the box, but I'm pretty sure you'll have one of those lying around already. And of course, in the box you do get Sony's map of Middle-earth. Okay, I'm joking. It's the standard literature and a quick start guide, but it is a pretty large piece of paper once unfolded. The case design is an oblong pill shape with a textured finish and a flat edge on the base, so it's not going to roll around on the desk. It's a solid color this time around. The previous version actually had a translucent lid, so the LED light indicators on the buds themselves could shine through. On the C510s, there's an LED light indicator on the front of the case, and this will change from green to amber to red as the case battery gradually depletes. And the battery life here in the case is 11 hours, which is not bad at all. But what's really impressive is the 11-hour playback you can get with the buds. Most flagship earbuds tend to range from 6 to 8 hours, and there is a good reason for why these last so long, and we'll come back to that. And when out of power, a quick 5-minute charge in the case can give you up to an hour of playback, and a full recharge on the buds themselves is around an hour and a half, and a full recharge on the case itself is approximately 3 hours. However, something you will get with the more expensive earbuds from Sony is wireless charging. You don't get that here with these. There is a USB-C charging port on the back next to a very discreet pairing button. The lid has a nice bit of resistance to it, so it won't flap open easily on its own or if you drop the case. And it's also got a really nice little snap shut when you close it. And yes, the case does pass the Cowboy Pocket Watch pocket test, and I call it that because this pocket was initially invented for that very reason. The case does support fast pairing from Google. This also means the last known location can be pinpointed on the Google map if lost. Also, if you lose either one of the buds, you can chime those buds, which can help you find them. Now, when it comes to wearable tech, if it isn't comfortable to wear, well, that would be a disaster. And I'm happy to tell you these are very comfortable, and this is likely due to the shape and the fact that they're very lightweight at just 4.6 grams per bud. Also, the hybrid silicone rubber tips create a really nice seal in the ear that keeps them locked in pretty securely, and this means for most people the C510s would be ideal for running and cycling and for the usual gym activities.
All right. Big session today.
And Sony has managed to get these up to an IPX4 rating, so they are resistant to light sprays and rain. However, they're not submersible, and the X in the IPX rating does mean they are not resistant to fine dust. So just be aware of that. Now let's talk about the hardware. This is another difference from the more premium options from Sony. There are no wear detect sensors here. However, the buds do auto power down when placed back in the case, So that's good. The C510s use physical buttons on the backs of the earbuds, and they don't require a huge amount of force to use them. And this is a good thing because when you do use the buttons, you won't be forcing that silicone tip deeper and deeper into your ear canal. These buttons recognize single, double, triple, and repeated taps for volume adjustments. And you can also set up a long push and hold, and you can remap these inputs using the Sony headphones app. And if you want to, you can set up a virtual assistant or AI assistant. So technically speaking, you could control these earbuds using your voice to skip tracks and adjust volume without using the buttons at all. You can also make use of the Spotify tap feature, which is perfect if you are a Spotify user. I'm a Tidal man myself. I just love the high-res library that they have. You also get access to 360 reality audio, spatial audio, and Dolby Atmos on Tidal, so that's why I prefer it. And this brings me nicely onto the codecs. You get SBC and AAC via Bluetooth 5.3 on the C510s, AAC being the better codec for higher sound quality. And a nice feature within Sony's headphones app is you can set it to prioritize sound quality, so essentially using the AAC codec most of the time. Although it is worth knowing that the SBC codec is better for gaming due to the lower bit rate, which gives you a little bit less lag if you're playing first-person shooters and things like that. And because they are Bluetooth 5.3, multi-point pairing is possible. So this means you could pair to your laptop and your phone simultaneously. So if you are working on your laptop and your phone rings, you can pick up that call seamlessly without having to switch back and forth. And on that note, here's how the voice call quality will sound on the C510s. So this is the voice call quality you can expect from the Sony WF-C510, and they do appear to have one mic either side. But of course, there is some software going on behind the scenes, which is designed to eliminate background noise. So let's see how that works. So now we have some pretty loud street noise just to the right-hand side of me. Let me know how clear my voice sounds now. And of course, when you're walking down the street, you can encounter some wind. So let's see how they hold up when there is wind involved. Okay, so right now we've got some wind rushing past my left ear, now my right ear. How clearly can you hear me? Let me know what you thought of the mics in the comments below. Okay, one of the things I'm sure you're most interested in knowing is how do they actually sound? Well, the first thing to note is the C510s have a frequency response range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, which is pretty standard for a lot of earbuds, but even a lot of flagship earbuds do have this frequency range. And the Sony WF-C510s do use 6mm drivers, which is what you'd expect at this price range. But once again, it's worth noting sometimes earbuds at the double or even triple the price of these do use 6mm drivers. So with that in mind, here's my opinion on sound quality. They perform particularly well in the mid to high frequency range, and because of this you get crisp, clean vocal performance, great detail and great clarity. And I've formed these opinions using the neutral EQ, the out of the box EQ. So by default, they are bright sounding earbuds. So if you're into music with lots of instrumental detail and vocal performances, you're gonna love these straight away. But here's where things get a bit more interesting. Sony's headphones app is arguably one of the best out there, in my opinion. And in this software, you get a ton of room to play around with the sound signature. And if you want to keep things very simple, you can just use Sony's Find My Equalizer tool, which takes you through a sound test. It's kind of like a process of elimination. And once you've done that, it will create a custom EQ that's tailored to you. You can also access Sony's professionally tuned presets and a manual EQ. So if you are a bass head and you want to amp up those low end frequencies and get more of that booming bass, which is something I did, and this is my custom preset right here, you can do that. And when it comes to bass, these do an excellent job in my opinion. But if you really care about bass and you want that next tier of bass output, it might be worth looking at the LinkBuds S or the XM5s. But saying that, at this price point, these have a surprising amount of bass and certainly enough for most people. The max volume level is also very good here. It's more than loud enough for me, and that's saying something because I'm that guy sitting there with the gaming headset on at full volume just to make sure people aren't creeping around near me whilst I'm camping in the corner. So listen here, the real strength for the C510s, in my personal opinion, if I could only mention one, would be detail and soundstage. I know that's two, but the soundstage is certainly worth mentioning. Now, here are those Sony features that I alluded to in the intro. I think you're going to appreciate these. Even though these are very affordable earbuds, they do support 360 reality audio. And using Sony's headphones app, you can scan your ears and it will calibrate the C510s specifically for spatial audio content based on your unique ear shape. And once you've done this, this opens up the soundstage even more when listening to spatial audio. And another standout feature from Sony is the Sony DSEE. This is their digital signal enhancement engine. So if you are listening to lower bitrate audio where it's a bit more compressed, the DSEE software from Sony will take that audio and upscale it. And while the C510s don't actually have active noise cancelling, they actually do a really surprisingly good job of passive noise cancelling just with the shape of the earbuds and the silicon tips. And actually it might be a little bit too good, and that's why this next feature is so useful. The C510s, unlike the previous version of these, the C500s, now support ambient pass-through. So this is where the earbuds use the exterior mics to feed sound from outside into the earbuds. So with a tap on the left earbud, you can toggle this feature on and off. And this is perfect for anyone who wants to be aware of their surroundings and anyone who doesn't want to get hit by a bus.
Stay sweet.
So that's the Sony WF-C510. The £55 price point at launch is quite incredible in my opinion. But what do you think? Are they worth the asking price? Would these be a good sound investment for you? Let me know in the comments, and I appreciate you guys for watching this one. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you loved it, possibly subscribe. And if you do that, you will be one of the finest subscribers known to man, and I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.